From a cutting. It's pretty common gardening practice. How about, have any of you ever tried to take the top of a pineapple fruit and then grow a new pineapple plant? Well, you should try it. It's pretty fun. These examples are actually utilizing the very cool principle of plant cells. Every cell in a plant can become any other kind of cell for that plant. This principle is known as totipotency. It's like total potential in every cell. Right? If you have the top of a pineapple fruit, like the green spiky part, there are no roots on that. But you just put it in some water and it will make roots. That would kind of be the equivalent of taking some of our skin and putting it in a dish and it grows a liver. That won't happen because our cells are not as cool as plants are. That's mostly the whole point I'm trying to make, is that plants are cooler than we are, period. It also means that we can do really cool science with plant cells that would be incredibly difficult with our cells. But don't plants need soil? No, I just told you, don't use any soil. You should talk about what plants need. It's a list of 5 things. And to remember all 5, I like the acronym LAWS. L-A-W-S. L? Light. Yes, good. Sunlight, got that. A? Nitrogen is a key nutrient, but you can't grow plants on a block of nitrogen. That doesn't work. So, our plants some of that is dribbling through our column pot, making the gravel a little bit wet down here. Or, over here on the aeroponics system, right here, take your eggs, feed the crops. And these guys are still not harvestable. They are real slow. They're doing all the right things, but in a real slow way. Because, honestly, we expose their roots to sunlight every 12 minutes, right? Roots should not be sunlight. These roots are wet with our nutrient solution, and nutrients plus sunlight grows algae. there's a lot of algae growing on these root balls. That's not good for the roots at all, right? We should not have opened that big segment of the wall. It really should be encased the whole way around on an aeroponic system. We pulled that wall down. Why would we do that? From South America. I will tell you this week.
You have it in India too.
For a pretty long time, so nobody's terribly mad at us. But I have Mimosa pudica in my greenhouse. But also, you can't go find one of these at a plant store. He's an invasive weed from South America. He's not really supposed to be here, but he is super cool. Really dense. I assume that this was the tail end. This is
Tail to be like Brussels sprouts, tail and Brussels sprouts together. There's 25% of the water never makes it to the plant. Where does a quarter of the water go? Evaporates into the air. By pushing the water through the air, you give the air first dibs. The air is always going to water on average for our continental United States, but those are the numbers that I know. Right. Quarter of the water we're pumping on our farmland, we just know is never getting to those plants. And we're like, well, Dust Bowl was bad. Okay. Well, in my greenhouse, I don't use any forms of overhead irrigation. Right? You've seen it already. You use that precision irrigation, what we call drip irrigation, micro irrigation, right? That we are precisely feeding individual plants. Here, where I have row crops that look more like traditional agriculture, buried just beneath the surface of the stand, I have drip irrigation, right? It's going to dispense a really specific amount of our nutrient solutions. Pressurized, computerized. That's a shrimp, right?
The hands.
Yeah.